Today we are going to be talking about the Autumn Equinox. And we're going to research a little bit about the practice of yoga and Ayurveda to balance ourselves in the change of season. So let me invite you to put an intention for your practice today. Open your eyes, bring your hands together and bow saying Namaste. Okay, so I'm gonna mute you now, but you will be able to unmute yourselves at any point if you want to ask questions. So this workshop is going to be not very tasking. It's going to be an introduction of what Ayurveda is, and we're going to do based on those principles, we're going to do a little practice. So Ayurveda is a sister science to yoga. Ayurveda is it means the science of life. And because it's the science of life, is a way of observing our bodies and our minds in order to get the best out of what we can have and start thriving. So Ayurveda understands the whole universe as form of 5 elements. These elements are space, air as air in movement, fire, water, and earth. And these elements combine to create or to manifest the principles of movement, digestion or conversion, and structure. And these 3 humors or these 3 qualities are found in absolutely everything. We find in our bodies movement, from breathing in and out to also digesting, to the movement that we can do in yoga, the movements of walking, talking, breathing, all of that is movement. We have all of the digestion, the conversion, everything that comes into our bodies, either through our mouth in the forms of things that we drink or eat, all of that we need to assimilate and digest. And other things come through our senses as well and our intellect. And we need to digest all of that. Sometimes you might say that, you might express that somebody told you something that got stuck on your stomach or stuck in your throat. And although these are expressions of the language, there is a physical correlation to this. So letting our spirits, our minds, our intellects digest what you receive is very important. So that the digestion or the transformation is always done by fire. It's like when you have something raw, you cook it and it becomes cooked and it's easier to digest. So whatever you ingest, you need to pass through the fire of the intellect or the fire of your digestion, and then you can nourish yourself from it. You can learn or you can nourish your tissues. The movement, we need it. We need the movement in order for things to move around and to do the passage that they need to do. The air needs to come in and come out. We also need space. Space we have in our head, in our chest, in our hips, inside our bones. And this space is needed to host our organs. Hello! It's lovely when we get little ones also joining to learn. And finally, the concept of cohesion or structure. The structure is our muscles, the water in the body is part of the structure. So the structure are the elements of water and earth. So the 5 elements space, air, fire, water, and earth. Space and air form this quality of movement, and this is called Vata dosha. Now, a dosha can be considered as a humor, or it can also be considered as an imbalance. Everybody has a little bit of all of the doshas on every single one of us, but there are some doshas that are more dominant than the other. So Vata dosha is air and space. Pitta dosha is fire and a little bit of water. And Kapha dosha is water and earth. So these doshas, or these humors, will have the characteristics of the gunas of the elements. So if we have an element that has air and space, like Vata, you will have dryness, movement. It will be cold because it doesn't have any fire. An element that has fire, like Pitta, will be hot, focus, to the point, and it can also burn out. And then a person or a situation that has a lot of water and earth will be grounded and stable and strong, have stamina, but it can also be too heavy and greedy and wanting to sleep a lot. So I know these concepts are a little bit, take a little bit of time to digest, to get into context. But I wanted to introduce you to that so that you can understand that this season that we are transitioning from is going to be a Vata season. So we have been in the Pitta season, which is the summer. And in the summer, you are able to eat raw salads, you can have cold drinks, you can do lots of things. The days are longer, your body can digest all of that. In the transition between the summer to the autumn, we are going from a Pitta season to a Vata season, where you get more air in movement, you get a bit more dryness, you get coolness in the air. So when you have all of these things together, you need to balance your body, you need to bring the opposite quality. Yes? So if the Vata season is dominated by air and space, and is moving and is dry, the type of practice that we will need to do on our yoga is a more grounding practice. It needs to be slower than the one that we could do in the summer. It needs to be also, well, the one in the summer can be quicker, but it also needs to be cooling. The one in the autumn needs to be warming. So we're going to be using Ujjayi breath to warm our bodies, and we're going to be doing very grounding and slow postures. The autumn season is the time to go within, digest what's happened during the summer, and also is the gathering season. So this is when you get the benefits from what you've had, what you saw in the spring and the summer. And to me, this is also an ideal time to rethink and reset, because we might have put a lot of objectives at the beginning of the year, but now we are on the second half, we are in September, and what's happened to all of that? And let's leave aside the fact that we've been faced with a situation that would never have imagined, nobody asked for, and nobody knew it was coming, which is the COVID-19 situation. So this will be a very good time of the year to rethink and maybe restate the objectives for the second half of the year. So we're going to close our eyes for a moment, and we're going to roll the shoulders back and ask ourselves, what does this autumn season represent to us? What memories do we have? Maybe some images of childhood, kicking of leaves, starting school, sharpening new pens, opening a new notebook for school. Funnily enough, the autumn season is the beginning of the school year in both hemispheres, north and south. Obviously, in the southern hemisphere, the autumn is in March. In the northern hemisphere, the autumn is in September. That still is the time when we start our new learning year. So with that image of our autumn season and maybe an intention of letting go, something that no longer serves you, like the leaves that let go, the trees that let go of the leaves during the autumn, and they preserve what's most important, which is the roots and the trunk that can always give new leaves, new flowers, new fruits. And very gently open your eyes, bring your arms up, join your hands together, and bring your hands towards your heart. And we're going to start our yoga practice standing. So bring yourselves into standing. And one thing that is always good to bear in mind when the weather gets cooler is that we need to warm up our joints. So we're going to do this practice is only going to be brief. Next week, on the 16th, we have another workshop and we're going to do more of the yoga and less of the talking. We are building up for the Autumn Equinox. So this is what we want to learn, how we are going to go through it and the type of postures that we're going to be using. So inhale and exhale, rolling your shoulders back and rolling your shoulders forwards. And rotate your wrist, making circular moves, letting your body move around. That's it, good. Use your creativity. During the autumn season, when Vata is higher, this is a very creative time of the year. Using the whole of the arms and maybe bringing a little bit of torsion in our upper bodies. Let your body reach and reach. No movement is wrong in this part. Allow your foot to move around, articulating your ankle and in the other direction. And your toes as well. Don't forget your toes. We roll our toes. That's it. And the knees. Moving the knees like the footballers do. And show me your salsa hips. That's it. Very good, Angie. Excellent. Come on, Maxine, show us your salsa hips. You're still on your flappers. Knees, I think. Very good. Excellent. And we're going to open the legs just a little bit wider than our hip distance. And start feeling the rocking between the heels and the toes. So feel yourselves going up and down onto your toes. Spreading the toes as you do it. Lovely. And now open your legs a little bit wider. So now you have your legs about 2.5 times your hip distance. And your toes are pointing away from you. So they are at a diagonal. bring your hands onto your hips and just bend your knees and see if you can see your big toes. If when you're standing straight and you bend your knees, you have your big toes either showing on the outside of the knee or not showing, it means that your knees are going inwards. We don't want the knees to go inwards. We want the joints to bend on the right way. Our thigh bones come into the hip at a 14-degree angle. So we let the hip flexors bend and the knees bend over the hip, over the ankles, and we can see the big toes. Good. So we're going to use this flexion combined with breath. Maybe that's a little bit too wide, Asta. Check it. Just not too wide. It should be an easy flexion. Good. Inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands down. Inhale, arms around and up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, down. And one thing that is very, very good for pacifying Vata is repetition. So during our Autumn Equinox practice, we're going to do quite a lot of repetition. What happens when you repeat a movement is two things. One, you don't have to think about it. You can already get the whole movement, even if you're not paying too much attention. Obviously, you should be paying attention, but if you don't, it doesn't matter. And the other thing that happens is that the repetition of the movement becomes like a routine. And a routine is super essential to balance Vata. Stay with your hips down, hands towards your heart, and feel the building of heat on your thighs. Breathe deeply. Relax your hips. Don't tense your buttocks too much. Good. And inhale, release. Heel toe your feet towards each other. And shake your feet, shake your body. And for me, the autumn season is lovely, represented by a tree. And the trees with the change of colors and the change of quality that they have can teach us a lot. So I want you to picture a beautiful tree, a tree that you really have close to your heart. And we're going to come into tree pose. So stand onto your right foot and bring your left foot either onto your ankle, onto your calf, or your inner thigh. Please be on a position where you can be stable on your balance. This is all about calming the mind and staying stabilized and grounded. And soften your gaze, looking towards the floor and around you. See what you can see around the room. And if this is a good position for you, if you feel comfortable here, just stay where you are. If you want to try a balance with a stretch, bring your arms up and arch your upper body towards your bent knee. So this is tree with Bananasana. And bring your hands back to center. Release your arms, release your leg. We're going to make the back even by doing a cat-cow from standing. So bring your hands onto your knees. And we're going to tuck the tailbone under and arch the back, bringing the chin towards the chest. And then release, expanding the chest, opening the chin. In, bring it up, arching the whole of the lower back, giving a nice stretch on the ribs. Exhale, open up and look it up. And arch. And release. Then let your back roll up into standing. Always remember that between each of our vertebrae we have a joint. And like the joints on the elbows, on the knees, everywhere else, we need to mobilize it. Motion is lotion. So maybe you don't have time to roll out a mat, but you can always find time to stand like this and do a little bit of cat-cow. Stretching like an angry cat and opening up. No excuses. Yoga can be part of your life at any point. And bring your right foot either to your ankle, to your calf muscle, or to your inner thigh. And bring your hands towards your heart. So as the fire element is still present, and we can feel it because not every day is very cold. Today we had quite a warm day. It means that we can also benefit from these elements to bring focus and to set up real objectives and practices, and to have determination. Bring your arms up if you want, or you can stay where you are, and you can arch towards your bent knee, Bananasana. Remember this posture because we are going to do it also on the floor when we are lying down. And breathe through the side of the body. And then bring yourselves back to center. And bring your hands towards your heart and release. Never struggle with your balance. The more you do balance, the better you get at it. But if you are not in a good balance day, hold from a wall, hold from a side board or fireplace, whatever you have, so that your mind can settle. So now we're going to go straight into a little flow, going into a child's pose. So this will be similar to the cat-cow. It will even out our backs. And to me, this flow represents the transition between the sunshine of the summer and the settling in and going within of the autumn. So just feel, if you want, that transition, that way of dialoguing within your yoga practice. Whenever we make these intentions and we put these explanations, the physical activity, the asana, becomes more significant and it reflects better on your life. The results are more satisfying. So your hands are in front of you. You are in a little ball in a child's pose. And then you can use your upper body strength, bringing your chest close to the floor and come into your up dog. You can have your knees on the floor or lift your knees off the floor. Open it up and bend your knees. Come back into a child's pose. So we're going to repeat this, and I want you to repeat this using your own breath for between 5 and 7 times. Just see how you feel. Inhaling as you expand and exhaling as you come back into your child's pose. You can go as slow as you want. There is no rush. This is our practice. So spring and autumn equinox are the times where the day and night are of equal length. So we want to balance our day and night internally. Come into your child's pose. You can have your fists underneath your forehead, aligning your head with your hip. You might feel already a little bit of heat building up on your body. Good. Come to sitting onto the floor and bring your legs forwards. An option from child's pose, if child's pose hurts your knees or is not comfortable enough, you can have your knees bent and come into Paschimottanasana with your knees bent. So we're going to do that. If you have a lot of flexibility and you can go down all the way, just go down and feel comfortable. We're going to do just 5 breaths in here. The options will be either knees bent, belly relaxed onto the thighs and hands on the soles of the feet, or you can bring your forearms underneath and push your knees down onto your forearms, head releases down, or release your hands by the sides of your legs, palms facing outwards. So whichever way you feel that is more nourishing for you, that is the way that I would like you to fold. Inhale, bring your arms up, and exhale, fold forwards. Just coming to see how you're doing. That's it. So make sure that you stay grounded. This is not about a race. It's not about how far you can go. It's about your breath. It's about grounding. And inhale, bring your chest up. You can have your knees semi-bent and using your abs, come down towards the floor. Feel your whole body supported by the ground. You can have a quick Shavasana. So these constructive Shavasanas can also be done with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Just to pause a moment to feel where you're at, how your body's feeling. And we're going to activate our core. So we still want to build a little bit of heat. We're going to bring your arms overhead and stretch the legs. Exhale, bring the knees towards the chest and the nose towards the knees. Inhale, extend. Try to leave your arms and legs 1 inch from the floor. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring it in. Feel the comfort of the repetition, even though your abs might be already screaming and saying, hey, why do you make me do this? And the answer is because we want you strong. We want you to have the function that it is yours. 3 more. 2. And 1. Good. And release your feet onto the floor. We're going to shuffle our bodies towards the right side of the mat. Extend the right leg. Bend the left knee and bring the left foot on the inside of the right leg. And we're going to bring the arms overhead. So we are doing a tree posture, but supine, a lying down tree posture. Now you can stay there, or if you want, you can bring your arms towards your bent knee and also move your right leg. So arms and legs come towards the left side of the mat. And this will give you a nice stretch on the sides of the ribs. Let your ribs expand. Let your hips expand. And bring yourself back to center. Have a moment to pause in there. And release the arms. Release the legs. Shake your legs or just sway your knees side to side. And shuffle yourselves onto the left side of your mat. Bring your left leg along the floor and let your right knee open up to the side. Foot comes towards your leg and bring your arms overhead. What does this reclined or supine tree feel like for you right now? Our right and left side are quite different. And we're going to bring, if it feels okay for you, bring your arms and your left leg towards the right side. So you're making a banana shape with your body, having the left side of the body opening up. You can feel the stretch on the hip and on the ribs. And you are having an external rotation on your right leg. Inhale, bring your arms and legs back to center. And rest your arms by the sides of your body, resting your legs onto the floor. Bend your knees, bring your hands towards your knees and make circles with your knees in one direction and on the other direction. And rock yourselves up into sitting for a moment. We're going to return into this lying down position. So Vata, this element of air and space, resides on the lower part of our body. So this is the area where air and space, or the Vata dosha, lives. The Pitta dosha, which is the digestion and the fire, is where the stomach and the liver are, in the middle. And the Kapha, which is water and earth, lives on the lungs. So this is why when we have too much air and space, we might feel gassy. We might feel that our guts are not functioning as they should. So I'm sure that on some yoga classes, you might have learned the name of this posture. But if you haven't, be the first one to know today that when we are lying on the ground and bringing the knees in towards the chest, this is called gas relieving asana. So we're going to come back onto the floor and we're going to press the knees towards the chest, inhaling as the knees come out, exhaling as the knees come in. And then we're going to do some gentle rocking side to side with the objective of massaging that intestine area. And if something needs to go, let it go. This is what we're trying to achieve here. So inhale, knees away. Exhale, bring the knees in. Inhale, knees away. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, knees away. Exhale, bring it in. 2 more. Last one. And then have your palms facing down by the sides. And we're massaging the lower back and letting the knees be close to the chest as we go side to side. You're going to be using your lateral muscles as well a little bit, but this is not much about doing abdominals as it is about releasing your lower abdomen area. And release your feet onto the floor, bring your feet together, knees apart, coming into your goddess pose. We are winding out the practice. If you want, you can have your arms overhead, or you can bring your hands onto your hips. And you can stay on your reclined Baddha Konasana with your feet together, knees apart, or let your legs extend along the floor into a Shavasana. And allow yourself to reflect on how your body is feeling. What types of energies can you feel rushing around? And what's the state of your mind right now? And as you inhale, start wiggling your toes and wiggle your fingers. Roll your head side to side. Bring your head back to center, stretch your arms and your legs. And bring your knees towards your chest, hug your knees. Bring your nose between your knees. Bring your hands underneath your knees. And rock backwards and forwards. Coming to sitting. We're going to finish our practice with one Shanti Shanti. Inhale to begin, inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your palms together, rub your palms, make the movements a little faster, generating prana between your hands, and place your palms over your face. Inhale deeply. Open your eyes to darkness of hands, slide your hands to your chest, and bow your heads. Namaste. Give yourselves a clap. So ask any questions either now, or you can send me an email, or next Wednesday. We'll come together at 7 o'clock again next Wednesday.